We're driving, we get this feeling. I look at my friend and I go, oh, we just ran out of gas. We start to get back in the car and all of a sudden we hear like a beer bottle just smacks the floor. And we were like, what's up? Can you help us? And he goes, what's wrong? And we go, these guys are chasing us right now. We ran out of gas about a half a block up. So we start running, we go up the corner, we turn left, and out of nowhere.
There is an unwritten code in Brooklyn. You don't tell anyone else's stories, and you don't talk about anyone else's business. Every story I tell is mine. Locations, names, and specific details have all been changed to honor that code. This is Brooklyn Files, the real stories.
Brooklyn is made up of many, many neighborhoods, like most other major cities. Except the borough of Brooklyn alone has something like 80 plus neighborhoods. And when you're growing up in Brooklyn like I did, you don't venture off into all those other 80 plus different neighborhoods. It's just too risky. There's too much downside. You tend to stay in your own neighborhood where it's just a little safer. Maybe venture into the ones that are closest to yours, the ones you're familiar with. You know, there's no reason for you to venture off into the other neighborhoods, really. Like, you probably don't know anybody there. You probably don't patronize any businesses there. You don't have any friends in those way off distant neighborhoods, so you just don't really go there. There's no reason to. But on the rare occasion that you do end up in one of those other neighborhoods that you don't go in on a usual basis, it usually doesn't end well, and more on that in a minute. So my first car was this 1975 Monte Carlo. It was teal colored, and it had a white Landauer roof. This car was such a piece of crap. I mean, it was always in the mechanic shop. There was always something wrong with it. And I bought it like on its last leg, and then it just sort of dangled from there. And I mean, I drove this thing into the ground. I mean, literally, the engine ceased one day, and I just left it on the sidewalk and called the tow truck and had them pick it up. But this car was just a mess. I bought it for $1,000 cash. I saved the money in an envelope under my carpet. It even had a broken gas gauge. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how much gas was in the car, so I routinely would have to get like 20 bucks of gas every 3 days. Like, I would literally just mark my calendar, and on the third day I would get 20 bucks in gas, and that would get me to my job, and it would be enough to hang out sometimes, and sometimes it didn't, and sometimes you ran out of gas. One night, my best friend and I, we did our routine of going to this local hamburger joint. It was a mom and pop place. It was actually not in our neighborhood. It was like in one of the neighboring ones, but on the edge of one of the neighboring neighborhoods. It was a little shady. It was a little seedy when you would go to this place. This is where we could score some pretty decent weed. It was a mom and pop hamburger place. I guess the son of the couple that owned the place, he would sell weed. I don't think his parents even knew he was doing it. So you would order, like, you know, your food, and then you'd ask him for like whatever, a yoo-hoo or something. I forget what the code word was, but you'd get a strawberry yoo-hoo, and he'd put that in the bag, but he'd also put a dime bag in, and then of course you'd pay him for everything. And we're driving around, and we start venturing into one of those far off neighborhoods, into East New York. And if you look up East New York, it's not a great neighborhood. There's a lot of crime. Cops don't even like to go there. To put it kindly, it's just not a safe neighborhood, to say the least. So we venture off, we kind of lose track of where we are. And of course, you know, genius that I am, I'm driving around. Lo and behold, it's the third day of my $20 in gas. And all of a sudden, do you know that feeling when your car is about to run out of gas? You step on the gas and it just gives that little sort of burp. And you feel like the car is losing torque and power. Not a good feeling. So we're driving, we get this feeling. I look at my friend and I go, oh, driving around, and we start venturing into one of those far-off neighborhoods, into East New York. We kind of lose track of where we are. We're driving, we get this feeling. I look at my friend, and I go, oh, shit. We just ran out of gas. So we're sitting there. We're in this terrible neighborhood, all right? The streets are deserted. It's late. It's about 11:30 at night. Don't forget, this is before cell phones, so we didn't know what to do. We decided the best bet was to get out and maybe walk to a gas station or maybe a payphone, and we can call for help or something, you know, if we needed help. So we get out of the car reluctantly, and I'm not gonna lie, like my stomach was in knots. I knew this was not a good place to be that late at night with no gas, no way to get away if we were in danger, and it was not good. So we get out of the car, we're like, we gotta get some gas or something. Suddenly we hear from like a crowd of guys, we could hear like a boom box or something from about a block away, and you couldn't see these guys because they were like hanging out in the dark, but they saw us because we were like under a street light or something, and we hear, yo man, what's up man, like that. And me and my friend, we knew we were in big trouble. So we start to get back in the car, and all of a sudden we hear like a beer bottle just smacks the floor like 10 feet from us, right? So this thing, they're whizzing beer bottles at us now from like, you know, a half a block away. So me and my friend, we start running. We go the opposite way up the street. We turn the corner, and I'm telling you right now, we didn't know where the hell we were going. I had no idea where the hell we were, but we were just gonna run for it because we had no other chance. I mean, it was either stay in the car and, you know, be like, you know, sitting ducks or get the hell out of there. So we start running, we go up the corner, we turn left, and out of nowhere, they're whizzing beer bottles at us now from like, you know, a half a block away. So me and my friend, we start running. We go the opposite way up the street. We turn the corner, and I'm telling you right now, we didn't know where the hell we were going. I had no idea where the hell we were, but we were just gonna run for it because we had no other chance. I mean, it was either stay in the car and, you know, be like, you know, sitting ducks or get the hell out of there. So we start running, we go up the corner, we turn left, and out of nowhere, this was unbelievable. This was amazing. I don't know if this guy was an angel or what. He's like this 5'5" older black man with like gray hair, the kindest face you've ever seen, and he's walking with one of those shopping carts, you know, with like the bottles. You know, this is back in the day when like people would collect all the bottles for money. I don't know, maybe they still do it, but this was like the big thing then. And so if you had no means of income, this is what you did. You collected cans and bottles. He's disheveled looking. I wouldn't say homeless, but close to it. And he's got the kindest look on his face, and he's walking towards us with this shopping cart full of cans and bottles, and he goes, hey, what's up, gentlemen? And we were like, what's up, can you help us? And he goes, what's wrong? And we go, these guys are chasing us right now. We ran out of gas about a half a block up. He goes, yeah, sure, I'll walk with you guys. They won't bother you if you're with me, he goes. And I'll walk you to the gas station. He goes, there's one a couple of blocks away up there that way. So we go now in the direction that we start running in, and now we get by the car, and these guys are all around my car, looking in my car, and they're like walking up to the corner now to see where we went, and they see Rudy, and all of a sudden they go, hey, what's up, Rudy? And he goes, what's up, gentlemen? And they go, are these guys with you? And he goes, yeah, these are my guys. He goes, this is my nephew, and this is his best friend. They were like, oh, okay, man, yeah, okay, all right. They left us alone. Rudy's walking with us, right? So it's now me, Rudy in the middle, and my buddy. Nobody's throwing bottles at us, but they're all looking at us like with a very suspicious look, like wondering maybe if we're cops or something. And we're walking through this neighborhood. We go another block up, and there was an even bigger group of guys. Now we hear like more music playing. There's like another boombox. There's like guys like, you know, drinking beers and having a good time and laughing, and they see us with Rudy, and now this second group of guys yells, hey, yo, Rudy! Rudy's like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? What's going on? They were like, yo, who are those white boys? And Rudy said, they're with me, they're good. That's my nephew, and that's his friend. They were like, oh, okay. And we were like, oh, shit. Like it's a good thing he's with us. I'm here to tell you, if Rudy wasn't with us, we would have been dead. because these guys were not playing around. I'm not lying, between the car and the gas station, we probably passed about 4 different groups of guys. And every time it was kind of the same thing. Like Rudy would wave to them, be like, hey, what's up guys? Yo, these guys are with me, they're good, you know, that kind of thing. And they were like, oh, okay, Rudy, yo, what's up, Rudy? Like that kind of thing. And me and my friend are looking at each other like, dude, can you believe how we lucked out that Rudy's with us? Like he's literally protecting us. He's like an angel. He's literally like an angel. We get to the gas station. I asked the guy behind the counter if he's got something we could put gas in. And turns out he had like a gallon empty jug or something and he gave it to me. So I'm filling up the gas jug and we start talking to Rudy and I'm like, you know, if we're gonna hang out with this guy, might as well get to know him. And he's the nicest guy in the world and he just like pretty much saved our lives, you know? And I really appreciate that about him. And so I start to ask him like, what's going on? Like, do you have a job? Are you retired? You know, how old of a guy are you? He's like, I'm 62. And he says, I'm not retired, but you know, I'm on a disability and that kind of thing. And he goes, I'm falling on hard times. He goes, you know, I live with relatives sometimes and other times I just got to make it on the streets and I make money by collecting bottles and cans and that sort of thing. So we were like, all right, well, you know, can we give you some money? He's like, yeah, I'll take some money. You know, any little bit helps. So my buddy, who was always kind of known for carrying a wad of cash in his pocket, peeled off a couple of, 20s or whatever and gave him some. And he really appreciated it. And you could see like he was getting a tear in his eye. He was such a nice guy. And I really will never forget how nice Rudy was. And then we decided to get back to the car because I had the gas. And pretty much the same thing that happened on the way to the car now kept happening on the way back to the car, but it's a little later and people are getting a little more drunk, you know what I mean? So they might have been a little friendlier when they saw Rudy 15, 20 minutes ago, but now they're starting to get a little rambunctious. So now, we're walking with Rudy and now you're starting to hear some stuff, from the crowd of guys like, yo, what's up, white boys? And Rudy's like, it's okay, that's not necessary and that kind of thing, that kind of thing. It's my nephew, that's my nephew. Rudy was getting real defensive, but nothing was gonna happen to us while Rudy was around. You could just sense it. There was something angelic about this man. So finally, we get back to the car after, a several block walk, and we passed no less than 2 or 3 other groups after that initial one on the way from the gas station. Again, Rudy was a literal lifesaver. So I start pouring the gas into the tank. My buddy's standing over here next to me, and I'm just getting the gas in the tank. And I said, Rudy, I just want to tell you, thank you so much. I think just the absolute best thing that could have possibly happened was tonight. And he was just gone. We looked around, we peeked around corners, we looked in every direction. There was no footsteps. There was no sign of him disappearing. His shopping cart was gone. I don't know if somebody took it. I don't know if he took it. The whole thing was just an absolute and utter mystery as to how he appeared and then how he just equally disappeared with not a trace, not a sign. And let me tell you something. I don't know if he was an angel, and I do believe in angels, and maybe he was an angel that God sent down in the flesh to save me and my best friend. But Rudy, if you could hear the sound of my voice right now, and if you could watch this video in some way, I just want you to know that you saved our lives. I will never forget you as long as I live. From here to eternity, I'll remember you, Rudy, and I love you. You're a good person or a good angel, whoever you are.